Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3, Black Ice 8, and Third Reich events. I know many of you have heard me say this many times and are getting tired of it, but from watching everybody else's videos, it's sort of, I guess you need to introduce what's going on with every video because you may get new people who haven't been watching this series and wonders, what's this? Okay, we just won Cape Town. It may be the knockout blow for South Africa. Like I said earlier, I'm not worried if I lose supply lanes, and we have the rail network. Another 0.2% IC efficiency and in throughput, which is nice. If I lose my supply lines here, because we'll just supply from the port. Spring mud starts to clear, how nice. Wonder if there's a balance of force issue here with the Soviets along the border, if they'll ever decide to attack. Okay, well, we have our Panther Grenadier Division thrown into this, and I'm hoping that we don't have any Jaegers, or Gebirgsjägers, sorry. I do vaguely know what I'm talking about. Light armor designs have advanced, well that's good. Okay, so we're maxed out with those until we get some other improvements, so we'll improve our engines. Now, engine improvement, very interesting thing. A while ago, if you guys were following the Hearts of Iron 4 boards, Dark Renown was in a battle with some of the other players about the quality of the Panther tank, and I know I chatted with him a little bit with it. And his big point was, and it's well taken, is that it broke down a lot, so it's not a very good tank, as opposed to looking at it from a gun barrel armor effectiveness kind of thing. And he's right, it did break down a lot. I fall sort of in the middle on the controversy, because we should send these guys over here. Our reorganization center. In that, yes, it broke down a lot. It also was rushed through the design process, in the sense that they designed it all, I don't know how many days or whatever, but they designed it all and then started building it without doing field test trials with because it's sort of in the final drive system, meaning the engine was all right, the track system was all right. It was the sort of connection between those that was overstressed and would break down, not robust enough. And my thought is that had Germany not been put in such desperate straits once, either in the design process before putting it into production, or once it got into production, they would have figured that out and then solved the problem by making a more robust transmission, if you will. Again, I love tanks. Tanks are a big, cool thing for me, but I'm not into the automotive aspect of the tank as much as maybe I should be. That they would have worked that out in given a time, and then that would have made the overall design a most excellent design. But Germany was obviously stressed by losing the war and wasn't able to do that. So, sorry, other things going on. Sorry, I'm gonna have to take a quick break. Sorry, back. And the what was going on with the Panther is one of the things that they did is they made a, if you've looked at, and I've been playing and it's been fun, and I'm, you know, there are problems with it, but it's been fun, the War Thunder series. And looking at driving the Panzer IV, as time goes on, it gets slower and slower and slower because, for the most part, and I'd have to look this up in detail, but basically it had the same engine on it, and they were sticking more and more armor on it and heavier guns. So it became a slower tank. Well, one of the things in a tank that is weight dominant is the engine. Also, of course, the armor is like we were just saying. What they did with the Panther tank was, and why I brought this up is that they designed an engine that was extremely lightweight for its horsepower. It had a lot of machining cuts on it to bore out excess metal in places to make this sort of super lightweight. I think more or less that worked well. Like I was saying, it's more in the final drive problem for its reliability issues. Maybe not entirely, but is where the significant ones were. So that they were doing a lot of high-tech research. Germany was to be able to make the Panther have heavier armor, but still be a very mobile, be a very fast tank. So they were doing this development. Now the problem with that is that when the design, like we were saying, was rushed, so if you took the time that you needed to get it right, it would have delayed its entry into the war significantly. And two, all the machining cuts and that element to an engine increases production time. You sometimes they put it in costs, but I don't know, you know, as in dollars or Reichsmarks or whatever cost. That's just sort of a metric to compare and contrast. But if it's the time that it takes to make each engine, obviously if you have more machines making more engines, it can counterbalance it. But Germany again was stressed and couldn't just make 100 or 1,000 more engine making machines, or all the machines associated, the machine tools and such. So you created, that's part of the thing, you were creating this very high-tech, very cost or time expense tank to make, that Germany also designed their tanks in a very significant sense to last, but they wouldn't last very long in combat. And once they got them there, had a much shorter life. So you're making a tank. Now the Panther had the braking problem, but otherwise their reliabilities compared to a Soviet tank, you just, unless you're going to really drive them back and forth around the Soviet steppe all the time, you didn't need that reliable of a tank, because it wasn't going to last in combat. You weren't going to get ancient veteran tanks running around. So that was part of Germany's problem with the Soviet Union. Now, if you're looking at this situation here, hey, we've kicked their ass, we've occupied all this, we have, sure, probably very dark stuff behind it. I'm not going to make light of that, but massive labor source here that is quite trainable, that you can take the time to build the machines, you know, basically increase your IC numbers, that you can build this really awesome tank, because you are going up against the British and the Americans. But if you've got to delay it 6 months, a year, it ain't good, because bombing missions still going on. It's still the cost of the war and the making of things like aircraft, plus the bombing damage. So, you know, you want to get the war over sooner rather than later, but you still have the... No, we're not buying fuel. You still have the time, the luxury of time. Okay, I want to see. We'll see what that is. Good. We're winning there. To build that. Okay, they're bombing me. They're bombing me, okay. They're bombing no, they're bombing the Vichy maybe. They're overflying me to get there. So they won't bomb occupied territories, but they will bomb national territories of the enemy, so... Why didn't... Well, maybe they did come up, and that's why we have the battles there, okay. Oh, they got naval bombers sitting in there. No. Oh, shoot, I should have done that, because we want to get Portugal on our side. Still producing more supplies than needed. Supply hokey pokey. And submarine has advanced. I do it just because it's helpful, but it's really a lot of BS for... It's gone. Okay, let's see. We're going to go with streamlined hull. Now this is very important. This will help submarines be a lot better. Air independent propulsion, that will also help if you don't have to run your on the surface. Okay, we've got Cape Town. They try to counterattack. Their big cruisers are going to have to go somewhere else. Okay, yeah, we lost that province, but we've got back Wavis Bay. Naval bombers. We can upgrade fighter bomber prototypes. Okay, well, we can deal with that. Jet engine research has advanced. That's good. Oh, it's this one, okay. Or this one here we fully maxed out on. No, we're doing all the secret that I want to do, because I don't really need to do the warhead right now, at least. Now we're back to very high production numbers. I don't totally get that. Well, I totally don't get that. I'm not trying to say I sort of get it, I just don't understand that. Why it does what it does. I think we will do motor support units. Good. That will help. Oh, they're attacking our police. Okay, well, you can retreat back out. Maybe should have used the air power there, but didn't. Okay. Port Elizabeth is now their capital. I wonder if we were to attack there. Well, we might do well then. We'll have to wait for the reinforcements coming up. Very slowly. I'm sort of waiting for this to collapse, but I guess not. Yeah, these guys are... Nope, nope, they won't all fit. Okay, let's try 3 of them. There we go, they'll fit. What we're going to do is we're going to send them... Let's see, we're going to go here. Rebase. We'd be getting more oil from here if we didn't have such a high revolt risk. So we're going to send in a couple there and probably send the other one to India to help with, if not turning it all green, but at least help with getting it less red. We don't need lots of breakouts of... Okay, well, we're going to take the HQ. Since they're attacking, we're going to counterattack. Artillery unit combined arms. Okay. I'm going to go with heavy anti-aircraft. Protect our ships from American bombers. Battleship armor advance. Now, is that enough? Yes, I went too far. Or did I? I don't know. Armor producer, which we had that, but not yet. Okay. No, we still need to do more battleship armor to 5, so we're gonna let that go on. Hope they fix that system for next version. Black ice. Well, since you're counterattacking there, we'll counterattack here. That got them to stop. Keep pursuit going. As you can see, we're getting them nailed down. We'll send some of the armor over here to help. Hoping air power is taking down Britain. There's at least some of their British American air. Over France. I'm getting ready to, probably not this episode, but very soon, see about doing a massive air superiority campaign over here to see if we can win Eagle's Day or Adler Tag in Germany, since we avoided it in 1940, and I think smartly. We may be able to do it successfully now. Okay, airborne warfare research. What is it? Join the way they have these organized. I don't. Okay, here. So we're going to be doing some more airborne operations. Yeah, we're going to let that go. Bind arms integration advance. Okay, we're going to at least temporarily stopping it. Light bomber prototypes as well. Use more air defense. And our heavies could use improvements as well. Looks like we almost got Kathmandu. I'm putting him mostly just to get more traits. Okay, Hungary, we give them... No, I don't think I want any fuel. Okay, artillery unit, command and control. How are we doing down here? Okay, well, you can move. Keep attacking. Okay, we got an airport built here. Building a second one, that's good. That means we can shift. One of these down here, won't have to. Base, yes. We got a garrison there, so these guys can get the territory. Oh, the ship isn't back yet. Okay. Okay. Now we've got 3 good divisions there, so we're gonna done the same thing. Go up to here. Get ready for an airborne invasion. So we're gonna, our friends are over there already, probably getting their ass kicked. We're gonna shift in more airborne because we got to focus on Britain. But right now we've closed out the Mediterranean, which is great. And we're gonna deal with these guys soon, but don't think we're gonna use the airborne. Okay, this is why some of the fuel, there it is. Okay, well, we've cleared out any basing around here at least that they can take advantage of. So what I want to do is, let's pick, yeah. Basically, I want to unhook most of the... They may catch up again someday and rejoin the core, but right now we're breaking the core up. No, didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. Now we want to be here. Maybe Panther Army Africa. And let's get back to invading. Well, we're on board ships as well. Let's try one more in the advanced Jaeger divisions. And let's go over here and see if we can make it. We're going to rebase. We're also going to send supplies to Wavis Bay. We'll come out of Athena to Wavis Bay, and since we have enough, we're also going to do split to Cape Town. Let's see how those supplies are flowing. Oh shoot. It's hoping by... Okay, well let's cancel that. Trying to force it to go through the Suez. Okay, well there's supplies here, so we'll go through Crutch. Create a supply convoy. Oh, I thought I canceled the wrong one. Okay. Crutch. To Wavis Bay. Oh well. We'll see how bad that hurts us. What the? I hit the wrong thing again? Oh, I did. No wonder it's going up, but I hit the wrong button. Okay. Let's give this another shot. No, I'm not drunk. It just looks like I'm drunk. Okay. Crutch. To Wavis Bay. A slower shell makes more sense. No, well, it's still better than nothing there, I guess. I think we only have this one more Victory province. Okay, nav ground crew training. I also need to get my mouth to work right. Okay, well, let's improve some of these other guys. And that worked. Okay. Actually, I'm going to send you back up now and we got you retreating, because we may use you going into here. I'm going to see if we can do an invasion into here or here to start a second front down there. Oh, sure, you can have some metal. Oh, hey, you can get in on the fighting. Okay, we've got Port Elizabeth coming in. Direct fire control unit. Which one came in? Okay, commanding control units. I am moving some more stuff over to the air. Some of these things that I've been neglecting, many of you have been pointing that out, and you're right, I have been neglecting. I've got Bloemfontein. I've read about places like Bloemfontein, Johannesburg, and talked to people there, but never been anywhere in Africa. Now let's attack here, just for the fun of it. That was... there. How's our supply doing? Okay, we're getting supply in here. Mountain unit. Well, yeah, let's do jungle. Command and control. We still got fights. And we have... They're sitting in the desert for the moment, but we still got this to clear out in here. Got this to clear out there that's jungle. Then we may have some bit of a campaign in Brazil. Obviously the south isn't so jungly, but... Okay, now let's see what we can do here. Now let's get everybody on board. Is this too far to invade? No. Let's see if we can do this. Vichy, give them money for fuel? No, thank you. Uh-oh. Oh good. This is... What? Well, got turpits out here. Setting. Normally I only see these things after Paris. Looks like we're gonna do better, but... Oh, Paris. Okay, so we also have some French stuff. I was wondering why Provence, Lorraine, Paris. this is dangerous to our transports, but okay, looks like we won. Settings got scratched up a little bit, and the 9th destroyer flotilla beat up. But I think Tirpitz pulled us through there. I wish we had be able to pause and do it. I know we can pause it on the results of a naval engagement, but I don't have the ability. So I'd like to be able to go, oh, retreat, retreat, run away, because, you know, I'm a naval avoider when I'm playing as Germany. I'd be different if I was going as US or Britain. I'd be wanting to dominate the oceans and all of that. I'd have a, you know, unless of course you're hitting a convoy or something, I'd have a very different attitude about what I would want to do as naval operations. I'm pretty sure by the time we get Port Elizabeth, we'll win this South Africa fight. No, okay, diplomatically, how are we doing with Portugal since we're invading right near it? It's Angola territories. Okay, it's way down here, drifting towards the Axis, yes. It's at 25, needs to get to 15, okay. And can we do... Well, we've got enough points, but we're still on a cooldown. So, no, is the answer. Let's see, can we do a... Still on a cooldown. There. They don't want us to, you know, do operation after operation after operation, lowering your neutrality or whatever, so I understand that. Okay. Well, I'm getting these things. I want to see how this affects things before I build more of them. We can build more fighters, because we're going to need them eventually, I think. Don't know how badly we're going to do over Britain coming shortly, but we'll get some more built. Let's check out how India is doing. Okay, we're going to stop this battle. That we are losing it. It looks like we're winning that, though slowly and barely. I think if we get their capital, we get their country, so their troops will go away. Oh, yep, enforce conquer, South Africa. Okay, we're going right in there. There's a port. We're going to take the... It looks like there may be some other brigades, but mostly all HQs. We're getting these guys, part of what we're doing here with these, is getting them in theater to also go after all these British. We may move some of the South African units and some of these units to go into Ghana to take out those British forces trapped there. Speaking of that, okay, now we're going to want these good units in a port. Okay, do I have another police unit here? Yeah. We'll send you down to South Africa, or Cape Town. So, okay. Where are you going? You need to go to back to there. So you. There we go. Now, thinking about that, did any of these guys? No, they didn't get there. These guys don't need to still be here. Send them at least to here. We are sending supplies there, aren't we still? Or did I mess that up again? Yeah, I messed that up again. Okay. Well, let's see. We will try Athens to Cape Town. Yeah, good. Okay. We're in here. Good. Hold on. Well, we have to wait a day or so, I think. And we also enforce conquer on Belgium. Yay. So, well, guess those are Belgians outside of Belgium, so they're still fighting. I think we'll get there quicker by strategic redeployment. So we've conquered Belgium again. If you do it twice, do they? Well, I guess they still have government in exile. So much. Still got troops with their flag on it. Okay, no. I like the oil, but no. Okay, 11th SS Freewheeling Panzer Grenadier Division, Nordland. Fair image. Not terribly fond of it. I'm sorry. Black Ice people, sometimes I'm overly critical of these things. You do so many wonderful images, you really do. You inspired me to do better jobs, but sometimes just a little bit. Okay, now again, like we were talking about, this is an SS division, not a division of the SS. Primarily of non-Germans, but again, it's because it's of the, for them, right ethnic group or right race. They would do it race, of course. Okay, this division was sent to Croatia for training, where it also took part in anti-partisans duties, ordered to Leningrad front. Okay. Good. We want another SS Panther Grenadier Division. Oh, I thought this was interesting, so I created this. Turkish military mission. I sort of subtitle this. Turks look at a tiger. And it's an interesting bit of propaganda here, or whatever. And it's not a propaganda so much for the people, I don't know how much, but it's to show the Turks how great the Germans were. Tanks are military secrets, at least when they're out and, you know, early in their operations, because you don't want to get out just how thick the armor is, and not that they were out there with rulers measuring everything, but they probably could guess some of the stuff, and who knows how. You see these two guys here are Turkish officers, and so is, I'm not sure about that guy. I think he is, but Germans, the rest are German there. What might get reported in Turkish files, and then how much are Turkish military files penetrated by the Allies and others to get technical data. But maybe they thought by this time the Allies already had one. No, the British heard the story of the British capturing a tiger in Tunisia. Basically a shell, some firing back and forth, the shell penetrated like right in, actually scraped down the barrel and came in there and jammed the turret. And the German report is that they got after the war is that the crew panicked and abandoned the tank. And the next morning, the British came out and found this tank in basically working order. The turret jammed, which they knocked the shell out and took the tank back in, full working condition back to Britain for testing, which they took apart and everything else. And that was the Bovington Tiger that's still running or returned to running condition in Britain. So they may have figured that the British already knew, and if the British knew, everybody else who cared knew. So, but it's an attempt by Germany to show off how great its military is here in 43, after the Tigers were, and as of course in 43 in reality, the war isn't doing so great. It's not, oh, we've lost yet by any means, and that, but we definitely have a lot of Americans operating in this part, Americans and British, and then operating in the front now. Were they really trying to get the Turks into the Axis? I'm sure to some degree they might like it, but then again, of course, it might open up a collapsing front. But they just might want them to remain neutral so that they're not piling on. Obviously, by the end of the war, Turkey did jump into the war against Germany, but mostly just to be on the winning side and partially to keep from being invaded by the Soviets, just that might decide to gobble them up, claiming that they were secret Axis partners kind of thing. So we can lose some supplies and money and improve our relations. I don't know that nil means it's not coded right, and some problem there. Or no need. Well, since it's relations with null changed by 10. Somehow I did something wrong there. Okay, well, so pick no for the moment. Won't cost you anything. You get to see a nice picture of a tiger tank. We don't need the supplies. We would rather not gain the loss and descent, so we're going to go with no significant rationing. I'm sure there's rationing going on, but not on a significant basis. That's upsetting the population. I like those events. Those are really good. That would show that if we were being pounded and we were running out of supplies and we needed them to keep all of our production going for, I've got to reorganize this off camera, still haven't done it, going to like replacements and or new units being constructed. Nuisance. Okay, it would help things a lot if we were collapsing, but since we're not. But it also shows signs that even if we're not losing victory hexes that would cause Germany to quit on its own, it increases the amount of dissent. Which increases other problems. So if things are going well, they go well. If things aren't going well, shows that things are falling apart. Okay, now let's see. Yeah, what are we gonna do? Probably gonna go around the wrong way, but we will do it anyways. I just want to make sure you're in. Good. I'm having to wait for these guys to get up there. And these guys are back. We're going to send them over to here. They're not there yet. He's about ready to cross over. Good. Not that those two garrison divisions are enough to defend Singapore against anything. They are a bit of a decent amount of defense, so we're going to go down here, see if we can pick up a few more islands or something. Celebes or something like that. If I'm pronouncing that correctly. I grew up, still have it in another room, but I grew up with a huge wall map of the Europe, not of the world, not of Europe, but of that in my room. As I was younger, sort of a three-dimensional wall map. It was really cool. So I learned about a lot of places, but it was all from, oh wow, we got a lot of decisions to make here. But it was about from reading and not necessarily knowing how to pronounce them correctly. Okay. Upgrade SS Pullet Panther Grenadier. Yes, we will do that. And create Panzer layer. Yes, we will do this as well. And let's see what medium. Okay, well, we're gonna leave some for fishing, I think. So that will help us as we shift units around. Okay, kick all these up top. Get them out of the production queue rapidly. And I think we have a few more units to move west. Come on, down here, down here. Okay. Nordland. Oh, they're way over here. Wow. Yeah. Once they get fully up on there. I think I was using them as commanding something else. We'll have to look for another commander somewhere. Okay, but once they get up there with their armor battalion, there'll be a better division. And Panzer layer. Oh, this should have a higher... It's a cool symbol. Higher priority. You may go in and change that. Need more reinforcements there. Okay, we've won in Brazzaville. Industrial zone is ready. Okay, fine. Aircraft carrier armor has advanced to 3, but I think we need to go to 5, so we're going to let that go until it. But oh, we can now. Okay, yeah. Aircraft carrier hangar. It's we can do more research there, meaning we can expand the size of the hangars, as I sort of understand is the concept of that. We also do the escort carrier technology. Let's take a quick look. Is it under carriers here? Escort carrier. Yes, we want to do that, which allows construction of escort carrier. Now, in this game, it's not a carrier that will allow us to put troops or aircraft on. Where we have the small and large carrier already in there, and then of course I think we can develop a super carrier. I've never built those like here, yeah. Just being Germany, never needed it, or got that far that I was building it. But what this does is allows you to really have a really good anti-submarine warfare unit, which we may build a few of those, especially we'll see once we're running supplies over to here and over to here. We may want some of those unit types as well. Okay, the British are over here now and bombing here, or we're bombing, so let's... Partially what I'm trying to look at is to see how well we are doing against these guys can compare. Because if I can kick their butts here, the Italians are in on this. And more Italians in there. But we've been... Well, they flew pretty deep into here. Lots of air battles. It was night. Cam Huber probably is up. I'm keeping these guys just operating at night. They'll have a lot of advantages, I think. Can I find it reasonably quickly here? Night equipment, yes. So that will be helping them a lot. Making them like that with the radar. So I'm hoping to strip away a bunch of their air before we do our Eagle Day. I'll add... sorry, I'll read it again. And I know tag is day, but Adler tag, sorry Germans. Okay, here I wanted to do this. We're coming in with more stuff, but we're still doing okay. Part of it is also just how technologically advanced our fighters are. Well, I have been sort of keeping them off the coast because I didn't want them to follow the British too far out. There we go. Oh, the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. Being an American, I don't know if I can understand why the Jews of Europe let happen what happened. Not that the Germans couldn't have killed them, but they went way too meekly. And now I know that the Jews of Europe had a long history of persecution, and I know that that they had survived as a group, maybe not as individuals, but as a group, previous persecutions, and so that they probably just looked at this as another set of pogroms against them, and that they would get through it, at least the bulk of them would. But with the ability of modern technology, it was a horrifying thing. If, no, not if, when this, whether it's Jewish set up like this, or some other group, whether it's going after evil left-handed people, or deciding to exterminate the Belgian race, or whatever it may be in the future, it will be something, when it happens again, it'll be even more horrific, because with computers and surveillance technology, we will be able to much more effectively control the situation, whoever the we is that are trying to exterminate a group of people. So it's going to be in some ways worse next time around. Like I say, it's hard for me to put, and I probably can't legitimately put myself in a European Jew situation. I've known children of Holocaust survivors in a way. I don't know if I've known children who's come out of parents who's come out of a death camp, but I've known children whose parents made it to America as sort of like older children, young men kind of thing, whose brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, whatever, had not just cousins or distant people, but whose immediate family, some of them had stayed in Europe, and they had died in the death camps. So I've known people that were very much affected by this. Now, again, all the people that I've known were born, raised, and grown up in America, and at least until modern technology, this just can't happen in America, because our population is armed. You just can't do something like this. You can have a war against a group of people, but believe me, they will get guns, and it will be a much higher casualty roll of the SS than it was historically. So this is sort of why I have I don't understand it so well, and I don't understand the European mentality on this. My ancestors, as far as I know, are basically exclusively from the British Isles. Any other European ancestry types, and mostly this part of the world, are people that like Normans and Anglo-Saxons that had moved to Britain, and Scottish. I'm also very proud. And the Scottish Highland, since until the culture was broken by the English after 1745, Uprising is in my screen name here. Up until that time, it was an armed populace. It was a daily armed populace. It was not a situation where we have guns for hunting and we have, farm implements that we could turn into weapons. It was basically every male practiced with arms of swords, if they had them, muskets or pistols, and if they didn't even have swords, of Lochaber axes and other things. Everybody practiced with it, even though their real job was a farmer, basically. Even the sort of elites, their sort of real daily job, real daily concern was growing food in the highlands, raise sheep, or however you want to say that. That was their real job, but it was an armed populace. And so some of my ancestors made it to Americas before the American War of Independence. The last came over sometime around 1900 via Canada. So a lot of my ancestors maintained this tradition of being armed in Scotland, and then once they came over to the United States, maintained arms. And other than like the Jacobite rebellions, other than the American Revolution and the American Civil War. For the, at least in my understanding, my ancestors, they weren't running around shooting people. Just because you have guns doesn't mean you run around shooting people. They weren't bank robbers or other sorts of people that just because they have guns they shoot people. No, they've had guns, and some of my ancestors were living up in Maine, and I do have relatives that are of the left persuasion, do sort of realize that up in Maine you need guns with you at all times, and they were talking about some of the relatives that were living up here going about to the next sort of town, because there's a lot of little small towns here, that they were going about armed all the time because of animal predators. They weren't going out hunting bears or whatever as the people that I'm talking about. It's just you're going from one small place to another small place. You need to be armed. And anyone, obviously you can be in a car nowadays and you're fine. But anyone who's going out in sort of a semi-wilderness thing really sort of needs to be armed here. So, because it is quite wild still and dangerous, much more so than in California being out in the wild. So I just come from this tradition that, yes, you could kill us, but we're going to take a lot of you with us. And that's just my viewpoint. So I just don't understand it. I'm not saying it's wrong. Why they didn't resist. I'm not saying they're bad people for not resisting. I just don't understand. And I think that's the best way to put it. I don't understand, and I'd be happy for Jewish people that have solid connection to the ancestry in Europe that could explain it. That would be fine, but you don't need to, because I don't know if you could explain it to me where I would truly understand and go, oh yeah, I would go that route. I just wouldn't. But they eventually realized, the Jews in the Warsaw ghettos, because the Warsaw ghetto wasn't a camp in the sort of traditional sense. It was a taking the Jewish quarter of the city. Sort of time went on, it got more and more walled off and sectioned off. So it started out, oh, well, you just got to live there. Maybe you go out to work in the day and come back, and so that way you could get certain amounts of food and bring food in and around. But it got more and more problems, and they were shipping more and more people off, and they somehow, I don't know the details. I've watched some of the various Warsaw Rising movies in the past, but they've got enough information that basically everybody going out was going to death. So they decided to rise up and bite, resist and bite. You can listen to the Sabaton movie of song Resist and Bite, and they also did a thing on the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising that, to a point, and basically they, yes, the Allies won. Yes, many were saved. But you don't know that. So, to a point, you have nothing to lose. It's better to fight than to not fight, is sort of my thoughts on it when you don't know. And so this is a picture of basically the SD here during the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, as opposed to the later Warsaw Rising. As the Soviets were approaching, the Poles wanted their country back, so they rose up in Warsaw, and Stalin halted the offense to wait for the Germans to crush the Poles, because he didn't want the Poles to have an independent country. So that's my anti-Stalinist element there. But so they came up and did what they could. This is a picture of some Jewish women, I believe, at the time that were captured. I presume they were executed shortly after this. The two guys here are, I think, Polish. I know I made the thing. Are Polish resistance fighters from the later Warsaw Uprising, because you notice they have Sten guns in their hands. No one got any outside weapons into in for the Ghetto Uprising. There were paradrops by the British weapons into Warsaw during the Warsaw Uprisings, the general ones later. The British were really trying to help out the Poles as what they could, but they couldn't do much. So we have this, and basically we have a partisan unit, which will of course die very rapidly here if you have any sort of forces here. So we're gonna unfortunately have to put them down, yes. But so if you're playing TRE, you'll want to keep Warsaw occupied. Okay, Atlantic Wall, north western France section. Okay, this section here, I do, because I remember one of the games I played, the scripted invasion happened out in here instead of sort of the traditional Normandy ones. So we will go with medium defenses, because I know it can happen. So we will do this, which means we're going to have to occupy these, because if they get an invasion without any occupation, I know it'll be that much harder with these fortifications they'll be able to move into. That's our Führer headquarters. Well, getting enough other units. So we're going to have to shift some forces. I want to put heavy artillery there. Well, we'll find something here. Hopefully just a militia unit. Some stuff will move in there, whether it's... Yeah, this is sort of what I don't want to have happen here. Okay, well, we have our... Okay, oil refinery 15. I'm not sure. A little better, but we're still getting overwhelmed. Yeah, we'll send you down. You can see these are smallish divisions. We're going to have to rethink some of this, make sure there's enough forward air power, because I want to win those fights. Okay, I think we're going to end the episode here. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. I do appreciate it. Please post comments. I do like to hear what you think. It helps me with figuring out. Okay, here's some of my forces. I'm getting ready to move there. These guys, we need to move them. At least temporarily out towards here. Make sure the fortifications are held. Okay, see you next time.